I think actually what my friend meant to say was it's really just the last one. It's really just leverage. And Warren Buffett, one of the richest guys in the world, said he doesn't like debt. But here's the problem, Jay. He's highly levered. He has a massive amount of debt. Why? Because he has debt on assets and other people's things as opposed to personal guarantees on his own. He's not mortgaging his house to buy these companies. He is raising debt on a company in order for it to make more money. And so if you don't understand all that right now, that's where I want you to dive in a little bit more. But you can start with a debit and a credit card.
Yeah, no, I think it's so important to understand debt. And you see that when you see a celebrity buy a new home and you realize they borrowed to buy that home. They didn't buy it in cash, even though they have the cash and it's available to them. And I think that idea is so foreign.
There's a hustle culture that happens about hard work will equal wealth. And that is actually not true at all. Just work harder. What's your work ethic? That's not true anymore, especially in the age of AI, because everybody will be able to do a mid-level execution. Very few people will be able to stand out amongst the noise. And we're already seeing this 47% increase in creators just this year online.
I believe that travel is one of the greatest gifts that we've ever been given. And Chase Sapphire Reserve has been my gateway to the world's most captivating destinations. When I use my Chase Sapphire Reserve card, I get 8 times points on all the purchases I make through Chase Travel, and even access to one-of-a-kind experiences like music festivals and sports events. And that's not even mentioning how the card gets me into the Sapphire Lounge by the club at select airports nationwide. Travel is more rewarding with Chase Sapphire Reserve. Trust me. Discover more at chase.com/Sapphire Reserve. So if someone's thinking about starting a business right now or wants to grow a business, and the number one thing you hear is, well, I don't have any money, I don't know how to fund it. How much do you actually need to start a business?
I think you never suffer from a lack of money. You suffer from a lack of knowledge on how to get money. The richest people in the world, they never use their own money entirely to buy things. And if you can sit on that for a second and let that sit in, then I think you can really open up your eyes to the fact that all around you, there are deals right now, and there is money that is waiting for the actually rarest of things, which is a human who wants to work really hard and has a good idea where to put the money. And so you actually don't need money to start a business. I don't think you need it at all. What you need is some access to it. And so, next week I'm going to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and they just ran out all of these new programs for new business owners where they will, one, do grants where they give you money. A grant means you take this money, you don't have to give it back. The government is going to give it to you, maybe because you're a minority or a woman or have a core needs business. They also do a ton of loans. They'll loan you 90% of the purchase price of a business if you need one. And all around us are also people who want to invest. And so there's a website called Percent. And on Percent, if you have a small business and you need some debt for a small business, you can actually get debt from your small business through a website. But I think the most important part is not just tactically. It's can I change my belief to believe that money is all around me and I do not need to have only my own money in order to get rich? And I want more people to think that way. It's hard. I get it.
Do you think everyone needs a side hustle right now?
I have 2 thoughts. One, I do not believe that you have to go all in on the thing that you want to do in life. I think that is told to you by people who had survivorship bias. It worked for me, so it's going to work for you. And what do we know to be true? And so I actually think that the way to never have risk in building a business, if you want to do a startup and have no risk, I think you keep your job. You do really well at that job while you're doing it. You use your salary to fund your side hustle or your next venture. You keep moving forward on it until your side hustle matches the cost of living that you have, your cash flow. And then you leave your business or your job to go start your business once you have enough money from inflow of the business. And I think we've told too many people and idealized this idea of entrepreneurship when in fact, I had 3 or 4 businesses fail. If I had just left my job that paid me good money, I would have been sleeping on somebody's couch. And so you can have a side hustle, but please keep it on the side for a minute until you make sure it's not just a passion project, it is a profit project.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the smartest, wisest advice. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
When I started doing what I do today, I had a full-time job. It didn't pay great, but it paid enough to get by. It paid my bills. It means I wasn't creating from a place of stress. And when you're creating something new from just stress, it can be quite debilitating. Now, sometimes stress can be the greatest motivator. It can propel you. It can be your launch pad, but you got to kind of get it right. Too much stress and you fall apart. Too little stress and you stay in the golden handcuffs.
That's right.
And I think that's where I see a lot of people stuck today is I meet a lot of people who I feel have tied on the golden handcuffs, but not using that as the investment. So it's like, I want to have a lifestyle with the money I make. I don't want to use it to build a new life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, I mean, and there's a lot of data out there that actually backs that. There was a study that was done on should you leave your job to do a startup or should you stay in your job and do your startup at the side? And what the data tells us from hundreds of individuals that went through this is you have a 33% higher likelihood of your startup succeeding if you have an income source while you're doing it. Because we make better decisions when we're not in flight or fight, when we can actually sort of downregulate. You know all about this. Thankfully, there's so many tools like What You Do that teach people how to downregulate, and sometimes you can't control it. But if you can control that your decision-making is better by keeping an income source, oh my gosh, why wouldn't you? Because being a CEO is really, in my opinion, it's like 3 things. If you want to be a great CEO, it is number 1, you have to be able to sell a dream so big that other talent wants to come alongside you. They think that their vision is bigger under yours. Then number 2, you have to make great diagnoses. What's happening in the world around us, just like a doctor would, to understand what's good or bad. And then you have to have great decision-making on top of the diagnoses. And so if you can hire great talent, diagnose well, but you make bad decisions because you're scared, that's not going to lead to a successful startup, in my experience.
I love those top 3 qualities of a CEO. I wanted to ask you the opposite. What allows an employee to be great and to make more money as an employee?
If you want to make more money as an employee, number 1, you have to understand how much money you make the company today. If you don't understand what your value, dollar amount is you bring into your business, you should probably go talk to your boss and say, hey, I'd like to understand how I make you money. If you had to quantify how I make you money, could you help me understand that? One, your boss is going to be like, this is amazing. Nobody's ever asked me this before.